Here are just some of the celebrities, singers, sportsmen and personalities who left us in 2023. Gianluca Vialli, Sinead O'Connor, Paco Rabanne, Shane MacGowan, Silvio Berlusconi. And to mark their passing, lest we forget what we have lost, the New European closes every year with a front page cover, crammed full with their faces in the style of the Sgt. Pepper front cover. It's titled The Departed. It is an unfathomable array of talent and truly an all-encompassing work of art. You definitely need a magnifying glass to do it justice, but I promise you, once you start, you will not be able to stop. It sort of draws you in as you move from one face to another. And it's the work of the British artist Christhebarker, who is with us. Good evening.
Hi, Christian. How are you?
This is fantastic. Where did the idea come from?
Well, I don't actually do it for the New European. They've just used it.
They use
the
it,
cover.
right?
Yeah. Well, I started doing it in 2016. If you'd told me 8 years ago that I'd still be talking about this now, I'd be very surprised, because it was just a little thing that I was doing on the night of the American election, because 2016 had been such a weird year already, and then suddenly it looked like Trump was going to become president, and we'd had Brexit, David Bowie dying, Leicester City winning the Premiership, and suddenly it looked like, well, this is just another one of those things. So I started doing an image that would, you can see it behind me there actually, that would represent the weirdness of the year, and then I posted it online, went to bed, and in the morning it had exploded and was absolutely everywhere. You know,
I can well imagine. It's so good. I've spent ages looking at it today. There's one really odd question which comes to mind. Is there a format? How do you decide who you put on the front row and who you put together?
Yeah. Well, it's down to me really. I choose who goes where. But the front four kind of chooses itself. You know, there's always, like, as soon as, so I keep abreast of the news over the course of the year. I don't actually start doing the montage in January like some people think, and then build it up one at a time. But I do.
So it doesn't matter if you die last. You don't get to the front of the queue. It's just how you fit into the collage.
Yeah,
right.
And then obviously the other thing is that I tend to release it a little bit earlier than the end of the year. So there's also this sort of live experience of it being updated as more, you know, terrible news happens. So people quite enjoy, I think, watching version 2, version 3, and so on. You know, I've done a version 2 where I've had to add several people that I missed out of the first one.
Yeah. I'm pleased to see that you got the sycamore gap tree in at the back, which I've stood next to many times in Northumberland, which of course is now there. Has also died a sorry death this year. I should ask you, given you're an artist, what is the medium? How do you do it?
It's Photoshop.
It's Photoshop, right? Okay.
Cutouts, yeah. And over the years, I've made the image bigger and bigger because, well,
because our eyesight's getting worse and worse. We need to see. Do you get inundated from people who want to buy them?
Oh, well, it's not done for profit, actually. I mean, I do a lot of other stuff that is for profit, but this is just a sort of a little gift to the world at the end of the year. You know, if people like it, I ask them to donate to charity.
Great.
Which apparently they do.
And is it always dead people, or do you do live people as well?
It's just dead people, Christian. Yeah. I have accidentally put a couple of live people in.
All right. Well, let's get the thoughts of our panel. Claire, if you were to pick one of this group of people standing on a hillside in Northumberland, who would it be?
I mean, it's just incredible, and what a list as you go through it this year. So one of the standouts for me was Betty Boothroyd, who was the first woman Speaker of the House of Commons, and she became Speaker when, you know, the House of Commons was a really male-dominated place. It was Conservative government then went Labour, she was a formidable woman, really commanded the place. So Betty Boothroyd for me.
That's a really good call. A really good call. Yes, she was the speaker I grew up with, Betty Boothroyd. In fact, I couldn't quite believe that a man could do the job after she'd handed over the seat. Ron Christie, who would you pick?
I have to say, I would pick the recently deceased Justice of the Supreme Court, Sandra Day O'Connor, who was the first woman appointed to the United States Supreme Court by President Reagan, who has battled with Alzheimer's and dementia. But she was a trailblazer. And now look at how many women we have in the United States Supreme Court. Similar to the way that you grew up, Christian, you kind of look at O'Connor and say, well, wait a minute, why don't we have more women like her on the court as opposed to these guys who've been around here for so long?
I would have picked Silvio Berlusconi because I was the correspondent in Rome, so I followed. I mean, he was Trump before Trump, right? An enigma in of himself, and you never quite knew. Very generous man, actually. Everybody I knew who he supported always got a Christmas present, and somebody said that if he bought you a necklace one year, he would buy you the earrings to go with it the year after. He was quite thoughtful like that. But of course, there were all sorts of rumours about how he made his money, and we'll leave the bunga parties alone, because I don't actually think. I was just thinking, Chris, you couldn't put Silvio Berlusconi, for instance, next to Jane Birkin, could you? So you have to be very careful where you put these people, because they can't stand next to each other if they've got the reputation of Silvio Berlusconi.
I have actually put an adult actress behind him. It's just a quick.
That's brilliant. Very tongue-in-cheek. I do like that very much. Well, Chris, congratulations. It's a brilliant thing you've done. We enjoyed looking at it. Thank you, Claire Ainsley. Thank you, Ron Christie. A Merry Christmas to you all. I'm not here tomorrow. Regina will be in the seat, but I will be with you on Christmas Day. I have the short straw, so I will see you then. Have a very good evening. Thanks for watching.